Alright, so the fantasy playoffs start this week for a lot of people, myself included. So I figure, I've already done a couple of these update videos, so why not give my update on my fantasy team right now heading into the playoffs. Right now I'm sitting at 8-6, third in scoring, and I made the playoffs as the fifth seed out of out of 6, sorry. So, do I have a chance? I sure hope so. But I lost to 4 of the other 5 teams in the playoffs, so that's not good, including the guy I'm playing this week, who I just lost to just last week, and he beat me by 0.8. That's so annoying, but you know what? It'll feel great when I hopefully get revenge this week. So, for context, this is a 14-team league, half PPR. Quarterback touchdowns are worth 6 points, and all the other regular stuff. So, let's talk about how my fantasy team looks right now. So, at the start of the season, I drafted Jordan Love to be my main quarterback throughout the season, and he's been inconsistent, to say the least. Over the past 2 weeks, he's been great. He's been great over the past 2 weeks, fantasy-wise. However, I didn't love his production heading up to those past 2 weeks. So, I decided to head out on the waiver wire, and I picked up Joe Burrow. I picked up Joe Burrow like a couple days after Bungles opened up his practice window. And he has been my starter for the past 2 weeks, and he's done great for me. And I, of course, have Jordan Love sitting on my bench now. So I do like that a bit better, and I do feel like my team has improved in that aspect. Now, taking a look at my wide receivers. My wide receiver 1, my first round pick, the guy who's my mascot, CeeDee Lamb. This guy has been reliable. He has always been able to give me 15-ish points a game, and I can't argue with that. I have no complaints with CeeDee Lamb. The only problem, and I'll get a bit more into this later, is that he has a concussion right now, and who knows if he's going to play on Sunday night. I also made a trade at the trade deadline for Michael Pittman, a guy who his yardage, his reception, those totals are down, but he's scored the most touchdowns he ever has in his career. I don't love that now Daniel Jones is out for the season, something I'll talk about a bit more later, but he's been fine. He's been fine for me, so I have no complaints there. I have Jonathan Taylor. He's been my RB1 all season long, and he's been great, so he gets the nod for that. I also managed to pick up Saquon Barkley at the trade deadline. I gave away James Cook, and the reason I did this, don't shout at me, I did this because the guy I was trading with also offered Tank Bigsby, so I have him on my bench just as a handcuff to Saquon in case Saquon ever gets hurt. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that's why I have that. And whereas if either James Cook or Jonathan Taylor were to get hurt, I don't have that same safety blanket as I would otherwise. At my tight end spot, I have Travis Kelce. Barring last week, where he had 2 or 3 critical drops for the Chiefs, he's been great for me this season. He has. He's been able to get me around 10-ish points a game, and so I've been okay with his production. Now for my flex spots. Zay Flowers, he's going in my lineup no matter what. He's been on my team all year, and he hasn't done what I think I expected him to do, but I am at least happy that he has been picking it up these past few games. And that is good. I wish he could get the touchdowns up a bit more, but other than that, I have no complaints with Zay Flowers being my third wide receiver. Then my flex 2 spot is where things get a bit shaky. I have Jaden Higgins in there for now. Jaden Higgins, he's a young guy. He's been getting a lot of targets these past few weeks. And so the Texans are at the very least looking his way. I don't really have a better option than Jaden Higgins. I'll go through my bench and maybe you guys can give me your opinions. Doesn't matter to me. Kicker, I have Chris Boswell. Reliable as always. And then the Falcons defense I have just because their playoff schedule is rather favorable, barring this week going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As for my bench, I have Kyle Pitts, who I'm debating putting in that flex 2 spot just because right now he's the only pass catcher for that Falcons team right now. Jordan Love, as I mentioned. I have Ramondre Stevenson just sitting on my bench. I got him when I traded away Kenneth Walker and Courtland Sutton to get Michael Pittman and Ramondre Stevenson. Just in case, something were to happen to Travion Henderson or something of the sort. I have Tez Johnson sitting on my bench. Mainly, he's a depth piece pretty much. I think he's going to sort of fade out of that Buccaneers offense as time continues and they get healthier. Mike Evans, he was activated for practice. I also have Brian Robinson Jr. in case Christian McCaffrey ever goes down. And then, as I mentioned before, I have Tank Bigsby. So this week, I'm debating starting either Kyle Pitts or Tez Johnson in my flex. I think the more likely option there would be Kyle Pitts. Just because, as I said, he's really the only pass catcher in that Atlanta offense right now. The problem is I don't really trust the Falcons offense as a whole. And do I want to start him over Jaden Higgins, who has been getting the targets? That's what I don't know. This week I'm going up against a team that consists of Matt Stafford, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Kenneth Walker, Marion Hampton, Rondé Gadsden, a lot of Chargers. Kyle Monangai, Chimere Dike, no, this is not a league with return yards. Jake Bates, and the Steelers defense. That is the lineup I am playing against this week. They already beat me earlier this season by 0.8 points, which made me so upset. But that's aside the point. Look, I'll say this. Right now, I am debating whether I should start Jaden Higgins or Kyle Pitts. Those are really my 2 flex options. However, things get more complicated if CeeDee Lamb does not play on Sunday night. So that's why I have a waiver claim in for Ryan Flournoy. Now, I don't want to start Ryan Flournoy, don't get me wrong. But the problem is that because the Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers play on Thursday Night Football, I wouldn't have any time to change my lineup because those 2 had already played. So I would probably have to go with another Cowboys receiver, and I think Ryan Flournoy is the next man up. Maybe Kevontae Turpin. If I were playing in a league with return yards, I probably would go with Turpin. But yeah, that's how my team is looking. Oh wow, the Chargers signed Phillip Rivers to their practice squad. How wonderful. That news just broke as I'm recording this, so isn't that wonderful? But yeah, that's where my fantasy team sits for anyone who cares. This is a nothing burger of a video. I just felt like recording something today. And also I apologize because I know this is going to be out a bit later than my usual uploads. Just because we had a guy today, he was working on our steps. He's installing a railing on our basement steps. And I don't think you'd want the audio to just be a bunch of sawing and hammering. So that's why I decided to wait on this video. He's coming back tomorrow, so if the predictions video is out a bit later than usual, that's why. But yeah, that's what's going on. Don't die, and have a great day. And if you play fantasy, good luck to you in the playoffs if you made it there.